Hello, with me today I have Randy Smallwood, Chief Executive of Wheaton Precious Metals, one of the world's largest precious metals streaming companies. Wheaton Precious Metals is currently worth about £15 billion, but I'm guessing few UK investors will have heard of the company. Could you just give us a bit of history and explain what the company does?
Well, we created our company back in 2004 when we created it, the streaming business model. And so we built the company around the streaming business model, which gives us access to high quality, fixed cost precious metals production from mines around the world. And we've built it up from 2004, 2007. I joined the company on a full-time basis. 2010, I became president, 2011 CEO. And we've continued to grow every year. Good, strong company. We've now got 31 contracts around the world, giving us and our shareholders access to top quality, low cost precious metals.
Some people might think you're a mining company, but you're not, are you?
No, we're not. We're a streaming company. So, we sign contracts with our operating partners, where we get a percentage of typically their non-core byproduct precious metals production. And so it means that we don't have operating teams. What we do have, though, is a lot of technical specialists that study these mines and assess the risk and perhaps more importantly, the opportunity in these mines.
You're much larger than Duke Royalty, but would it be fair to say you're in a similar line of business to Duke, which is listed on London's AIM market?
Well, royalties are traditional in sort of the mining space and in a lot of other businesses. I think Duke, I'm not sure Duke is in the resource space. As I understand it, most of their royalties are more on operations and manufacturing and such. We're probably more comparable to a company called Anglo-Pacific that's already listed, but substantially larger. And we don't do royalties. We do streams, and streams have a definite advantage over royalties. It's why most of the traditional royalty companies have now become streaming companies.
Randy, what's the advantage of streaming as opposed to royalties?
Streams represent a partnership, a contract between the operating party and the streaming company. And we're constantly finding ways it's got a lot more flexibility. We're constantly finding ways to deliver value post the initial purchase or the upfront payment that we make. And it's focused on specific metal. I think the key thing with streams is that we actually get metal credits delivered to us. We get gold, we get silver, we get palladium, and we now, as of January, start getting cobalt from the Voisey's Bay mine here in Canada. It's actually metal credits that get delivered to us, not just cash, and it's tied to metal production, and so it's truly more rooted into the actual mining process itself.
Why did you decide to list your shares in London last October?
Well, it all comes to growing or expanding our potential shareholder base. The more opportunity, the more people we have that have access to Wheaton, and the more people that understand our business model and the low risk, high upside opportunity that we provide in precious metals, the better it is for all of our shareholders. And so this is an expansion. We're not shifting. We're a proud Canadian company. However, most of our stock actually trades on the New York Stock Exchange. About 70% of our stock trades on the New York Stock Exchange. The Toronto Stock Exchange is where we were originally listed back in 2004. And now we're hoping that over time, the London Stock Exchange will also represent a sizable part of our liquidity. But it's really about expanding our shareholder base.
Now, you're bigger than many FTSE 100 companies. Why are you not listed in the UK Blue Chip Index?
Well, we're not re-domiciling. This is a growth. This is a next step. This is an expansion in our range. And so, we remain a Canadian company. The New York Stock Exchange is by far the most important bourse that our shares trade on. And so, as I said, we're not shifting. We're not going to re-domicile. We are a proud Canadian company and intend to stay Canadian, and therefore felt that the standard listing was the approach to take.
Wheaton shares have more than doubled in value over the past 2 years, and they were up 50% in 2020. What have been the key drivers, and what do you see as positive catalysts in the future?
Well, precious metals themselves have done very well, but our portfolio of assets, I would argue probably the highest quality portfolio of precious metal assets in the world. the bulk of our production comes from copper mines. We're buying the byproduct gold production from copper mines and from lead zinc mines, silver from lead zinc mines, even gold from palladium or PGM mines. But when you look at these mines, they are some of the strongest mines in the world. The bulk of them have very high operating margins. 73% of our production comes from the first quartile of the respective cost curves, which means these mines, not only are they very profitable for us, they're also very profitable for the operating partners. And so, the growth that we've seen and the strength of our portfolio has been a real driving factor in terms of our own production growth. That, combined with increasing precious metal prices, have all sort of delivered returns back to our existing shareholders.
Why should UK investors own the shares?
I think everyone should have a bit of exposure to precious metals, especially in today's world. If ever you need some exposure in precious metals, you should have at least 10% of your portfolio invested into precious metals as a store of value, as a foundation in your portfolio. And I really do believe that with our business model, streaming, where we have fixed costs, there's very little cost risk. Traditional mining companies always have cost risk. That's the challenge that you have. So we have fixed costs in our business model, but we have full optionality to the upside of precious metal prices. Our mines are the most profitable mines in the world, so we know our partners are going to continue reinvesting and exploring in these mines. When you have access to that, we really do believe that our business model and our company is the best way to invest into precious metals. And we think there's a huge opportunity in the UK and specifically on the London Stock Exchange for us to fill a need that is required, that everyone should have in their portfolio.